Have you ever thought about a seed? Good seeds are little things that, if planted at the right time, the right place, and are tended to, become huge blessings down the road. Whatever seeds you're sowing today, seeds for your future, for your family, for your faith, or for actual food, you're at the right place. Welcome to the Sowing Seed Podcast. Now, here's your host, who incidentally doesn't believe in Bigfoot, but Bigfoot believes in him, Matt Miller.
What do you want? When do you want it? And what are you willing to give up to get it? These three questions, I think, in many cases, we forget to answer. And then we wonder why we struggle to put together our businesses or to accomplish whatever it is that we're setting out to accomplish in our life. So what do you want? What do you want? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? Why did you start what you've started? There's got to be a reason for it. Or another way, what's your why? See, for me, the years and years and years and years of work that it took to initially start a basic gumball and bulk vending business, which eventually grew to being a nationwide franchise, all was started by Amy and I deciding what we wanted. You see, I didn't want to just start a business. I didn't want to just make some extra money on the side, though for many years, that's what our business ended up being initially. No, I wanted success. And in my definition, success is control over time and money. I wanted to do my own thing, to be my own boss, and to have complete and total control over my day-to-day without having to answer to anybody except for myself and my family. To where if we wanted to take a couple of weeks off, we didn't have to ask anybody for the vacation time. And all we had to do, quite honestly, is take a look at the schedules of those in the family, make sure that we've got money put aside, and go do it. That's what I wanted. So because of that, all the steps that it took fell pretty easily into place. And every time that I would get discouraged or I would get frustrated or things wouldn't be growing at the pace that I expected or hoped that they would grow, all I had to do was turn back and look at what I wanted and continue to remind myself over and over and over again what that was. See, things are always going to take twice as long that you expect, and they're probably going to cost twice as much as well. But it is so difficult for many of us today in our society because of the microwave mentality that we have, because of the ability to jump from job to job to job, because of the ability to jump around online and come across with thousands of opportunities to derive income. It's easy to become distracted, forget what it is you're trying to accomplish, and in the process, never accomplish that one thing. So I early on figured out this vending thing worked. I started to make some real money at it. And I decided that vending was going to be my ticket to success. And so I put 100% focus and effort into vending, into adding another location and another location and another location and another location, knowing that if I did that long enough, I'd have that freedom, that financial independence, and that quote unquote success by my definition. So what do you want? Secondly, when do you want it? You know, a goal is just a dream without a timeline on it. So you can't just dream it. You have to set some goals. You have to write them down. And one of the most important things in that process is to put some dates to them. Because by setting dates and writing them down, you're much more likely to be that much further ahead, whether you actually reach that goal in the allotted time that you've set for yourself or not. You know, if you're planning on being able to walk away from your career, well, it's important to have in your mind when that date is going to be, and then absolutely put the blinders on and bust your rear for whatever time necessary in order to get that done. So if you don't put a time on it, you won't ever get around to it. It's like those folks that get engaged, but they don't have a date to get married. They're not engaged. They haven't committed. So what do you want? When do you want it? And finally, what are you willing to give up? Quite honestly, this is probably the hardest part for all of us because there are so many distractions. There are so many things today that we can do with our time, whether it be playing golf or playing tennis with our friends, whether it be going out and hanging out with our friends, whether it be, you know, spending every waking moment not in work with our families. Something's got to give. And if you especially are hoping to create a business that gives you some lifestyle down the road, that gives you time and money, you're going to have to get out of balance and you're going to have to put some things on the back burner for a period of time to make that happen. Because here's a news flash. You can't have it all. You can't have it both ways. For me, I realized that we were so far behind financially because of some stuff that happened at work and because of some foolish decisions we made along the way that I had to put my blinders on. I had to get way out of balance. There was a time that I was working full-time as an advertising executive. I was building my bulk vending business on the side. I was delivering pizzas for Pizza Hut on nights and weekends, and I was starting SSV at the same time. I didn't have a whole lot of time to spend with my kids and with my family. So I brought my kids along with me doing much of what I did so I could still have that time with them and in their lives. It just wasn't going to be going out and throwing the ball around at the ballpark. It wasn't going to be going to the theme park or going to a movie or going to the local bounce house. Those things could not help us get where we needed to go. And ultimately, the success of their mom and dad's business was going to provide much more value, stability, and security for those kids as they got older than milking hour after hour after hour doing things together just to do things together. You know, today we've got 2 kids in college. You know, a couple of years from now, 2 will be graduated. We'll have 1 left. One of our goals was always to be able to pay for school for our kids. And we definitely didn't have the money early on to be able to do that. But today, we've been able to do that for the most part. And we've still got a few more years to go. But we wouldn't have been able to do that and put our kids in a position where they have very little, if any, debt when they graduate from college if I hadn't sacrificed and been out of balance when they were younger. The ability now for us to go on a family vacation over spring break, because our two oldest had the same spring break this last year, and to spend a week together in the Scottsdale, Arizona area, in Flagstaff, in Sedona, at the Grand Canyon, and to develop those memories that we will all remember for a lifetime, because we did what we needed to do early on, because we knew what we wanted, we knew when we wanted it, and we were willing to give up some things along the way. You can't have ultimate success without all three of those things. And to think that you can accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish without giving some things up is not reality. I never spent time hanging out with my buddies. I didn't play golf. I didn't, play tennis. I didn't do any of that. I was either working full time, working for our business, or spending what little time I had with my family. And that was about it. In fact, Seinfeld, in my formative years of adulthood, was the sitcom that everybody was always talking about. I have never seen a Seinfeld episode. I missed them. I was too busy. I had too much going on trying to make sure that we kept a roof over our head and striving long term for our dream, for our American dream. What do you want? When do you want it? And what are you willing to give up?
Thank you for listening to the Sowing Seed Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a 5-star review in iTunes or your podcast player of choice. So until next time, go plant the seed you need to succeed.